Aryna Sabalenka makes honest admission on regrets after failing to capitalize on lead in Australian Open defeat. Aryna Sabalenka ended her Australian Open campaign with a heartbreaking loss in the final to Aryna Sabalenka, who lifted her first trophy at Melbourne Park. The world number one reflected on losing the crucial lead in the title match, highlighting her opponent's strong performance while acknowledging her own limitations and remaining optimistic about the season. Aryna Sabalenka on her perspective as she collapsed her lead in the final battle at the Australian Open. Sabalenka, the two-time Australian Open champion, was hoping to clinch her third title but fell short to the Russian-Kazakhstani star with a final scoreline of 6-4, 4-6, 6-4. The final of the women's singles at the Rod Laver Arena went on for 2 hours and 18 minutes, capturing intense performances from two elite WTA tennis players. The duo last clashed at the 2025 WTA Finals, held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, with Rybakina lifting her first WTA Finals trophy after defeating the Minsk native in 2 sets. Coming to the present, the final at Melbourne Park was a repeat performance considering the win, as Rybakina won the first set, Sabalenka the second, with the third set the deciding one. In the last set, the world number one lost the lead, failing to convert the points with her clutch performance, and expressed remorse over the loss. She expressed her thoughts during her post-match press conference, highlighting Rybakina's notable execution, adding, "I think it was like really aggressive tennis overalls the whole match, and I feel like in that moment she kind of like had nothing to lose. So she stepped in and she played incredible points. She was serving so it was just one break and probably I should." She continued, "I don't know if I have any regrets. Maybe I should have tried to be more aggressive on my serve, knowing that I have a break, and put pressure on her. But she played incredible. She made some winners. I met couple of forced errors." Read more. Heartbroken Aryna Sabalenka hides her face in a towel. Aryna Rybakina displays raw emotions after Australian Open glory. While reflecting on her bright hopes for the season ahead, Sabalenka mentioned, "So of course I have regrets. You know, when you lead 3-love and then felt like in few seconds it was 3-4, and I was down with the break, so it was very fast and great tennis from her, maybe not so smart from me, but as I say today, I'm a loser. Maybe tomorrow I'm a winner, maybe again a loser, hopefully not. Let's see." By beating Sabalenka, Rybakina has added a second major title to her list after her 2022 Wimbledon Championship women's singles title, which she claimed after defeating Ons Jabeur. Resilience in defeat. Aryna Sabalenka's honest admission after Australian Open heartbreak. In the shimmering heat of Melbourne Park's Rod Laver Arena, under the bright January lights of the Australian summer, Aryna Sabalenka stood on the brink of history. The world number one, a two-time Australian Open champion, had battled back from a set down, seized momentum, and surged to a 3-0 lead in the decisive third set of the 2026 Australian Open final. At that moment, victory seemed not only possible, but imminent. Yet, like a shifting mirage in the desert sun, that lead slipped away within minutes. Aryna Rybakina, the fifth seed and powerful ball striker from Kazakhstan, wrested back control, turning Sabalenka's advantage into a stunning 6-4, 4-6, 6-4 defeat. For Sabalenka, the loss underscored both the cruel beauty of sport and the profound introspection that follows an opportunity missed. A champion's regret. In the immediate aftermath of the match, Sabalenka's reflections were candid and revealing. Speaking with reporters, she acknowledged her regrets, not merely for losing, but for how quickly her lead dissolved and what she might have done differently in that critical stretch. She questioned her tactical choices, especially her serve strategy when she had break advantage, suggesting she could have been more aggressive and thus maintained pressure on Rybakina. "Of course I have regrets. When you lead 3-0 and then suddenly you're down a break, it all happens so fast," she said, her voice mixing self-critique with sportsmanlike praise for her opponent's brilliance. This admission is striking not because of its surface humility, athletes often regret tactical errors, but because of Sabalenka's raw honesty. Rather than hide behind platitudes or deflect blame, she openly dissected her own performance, acknowledging both the positive, her fight, her aggressive tennis, and the negative, the unforced errors and missed chances that ultimately shifted the finals' momentum. In a sport where mental edge and a single break of serve can define glory, Sabalenka's transparency offers a compelling glimpse into the psychological complexity of competing at the highest level. The psychological contest beyond the baseline. Tennis is as much a mental battle as it is a physical one. The stopwatch might record 2 hours and 18 minutes, but the lingering memory of 5 lost games in a row, after holding a commanding lead, can echo far longer in a player's psyche. When Sabalenka spoke of her performance, she did not just describe points, she described moments where confidence and choices intersected. Rybakina, she said, had nothing to lose in that stretch, and suddenly that boldness translated into winners, while her own game, momentarily uncertain, ceded ground. Such reflections reveal an elite competitor's ongoing internal dialogue, the scrutiny of decisions made within milliseconds, the replay of imagined alternatives. It's in these micro-moments, should she have attacked, should she have served differently, should she have trusted a specific pattern, where the sport expands beyond physical execution into psychological terrain. Sabalenka's admission reminds us that even champions grapple with the weight of "what if?" long after the crowd has filed out and the stadium lights dim. More than a loss. A mirror on human ambition. Sabalenka's comments resonate not just with tennis fans but with anyone who has confronted ambition's bittersweet edge. Her words, "Today I'm a loser, maybe tomorrow I'm a winner, maybe again a loser," reflect a philosophical acceptance of sport's cyclical nature and life's inherent unpredictability. There is no guarantee that leads hold, that triumphs come when they seem inevitable, or that success permanently resides with any one person, regardless of ranking or form. What she underscores is both vulnerability and resilience, the capacity to face defeat honestly, to acknowledge regret without succumbing to despair, and to envision growth from disappointment. For Sabalenka, regrets are not shackles but reference points, markers for reflection, for recalibration, and for future preparation. This kind of self-examined ambition is at the heart of every great athlete's journey. Context, patterns of pain and persistence. The 2026 final was not an isolated moment. Sabalenka's career is marked by brilliance and occasional heartbreak. She had captured the Australian Open title in both 2023 and 2024, yet recent years also saw significant final defeats, including the 2025 Australian Open and other majors. Her runner-up record in recent finals, 3 losses in 4, highlights how sports margins can both reveal excellence and expose frustration.